This video will show you how to analyze result pages. Google results can be characterized in a number of ways. First of all, in terms of location, which is explained in the video on localizing web sources. Second, you can look at the type of sources in the results. For instance, if we query climate change, we can see that the results are dominated by government sites, news sites, NGO sites, and there are hardly scientific or commercial websites. This can partly be read from the TLD, for instance .org or .gov, and partly this can be done by recognizing the source or by looking up a specific source, for instance by clicking the result and looking for the About page. Thirdly, you can look at the content, the occurrence of specific terms or names in the results. For example, you can query the term rights in a local domain Google, in this case google.co.uk, and start reading the results and filtering out the top 10 human rights per local domain Google. For instance, here we have human rights, civil rights, again human rights, and then continue reading and interpreting the results until you have a top 10. Here it is important to keep specificity by resisting the urge to categorize and generalize, and instead to follow the language of the sources. The fourth way is by looking at leaning. Do the results display distinct perspectives on a query? Here I have queried Obamacare, and Obamacare originally was used by the Republicans for Obama healthcare plan, but was later on appropriated by the Democrats. If you start reading the results and looking at the sources, you can see that some are Obama friendly, whereas others are not. If you decide to categorize pages, do so according to an emergent coding scheme, which stays close to the medium and the language of the actors you are studying by describing what you see. Look for emerging clusters and use those as categories. Do not forget to specify a coding scheme in which you explain the categories, how you got them, and what belongs to them. Such a coding scheme can be very obvious, but also very subtle. Lastly, you can look at the position of sources, how close are sources or specific actors to the top, and absence presence, who, what is dominant or missing, and is this expected and what is unexpected about it. This is a selection of ways search engine results may be read and characterized, and each of them can also be used in a comparative analysis, for instance between two local domain Googles. How to best characterize your results and the types of findings you are able to generate highly depend on your research question and query design.